Hello everybody, I am Jmulls of Jmulls Gaming, and we need to talk about Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows, the first Assassin's Creed mainline game that's taking place in Japan, a long-awaited location for this franchise. And it just doesn't seem as if the hype is there, and I want to talk about it, because the game just got delayed. In a PDF file entitled Ubisoft Updates Its Financial Targets for Fiscal Year 2024 to 2025, it is revealed that Assassin's Creed Shadows, which was originally going to release this November, has been pushed back to the 14th of February 2025. And I'll quote here actually, "While the game is feature complete, the learnings from the Star Wars Outlaws release led us to provide additional time to further polish the title. This will enable the biggest entry in the franchise to fully deliver on its ambition, notably by fulfilling the promise of a dual protagonist adventure with Naoe and Yasuke bringing two very different gameplay styles. This borderline feels like it's reading like a marketing piece." However, they also follow this up with two interesting tidbits. Number one, we are departing from the traditional season pass model. All players will be able to enjoy the game at the same time on February 14th, and those who pre-order the game will be granted the first expansion for free. And second off, the game will mark the return of our new releases on Steam day one. Yeah, not releasing a game on Steam day one is pretty stupid, especially in the modern day where we're seeing a lot of video game blockbuster successes be largely because of their performance on Steam. So, smart move to come back to that platform. They proceed to try and glaze Star Wars Outlaws a bit, but they do talk about how it, well, again, I'll just quote them, "Star Wars Outlaws' initial sales proved softer than expected. In response to player feedback, Ubisoft's development team are currently fully mobilized to swiftly implement a series of updates to polish and improve the player experience in order to engage a large audience during the holiday season to position Star Wars Outlaws as a strong, long-term performer. The game will be available on Steam on November 21st. Okay, so I understand it's a bit popular nowadays to crap on Ubisoft because they've made themselves such an easy target. And the controversy surrounding Assassin's Creed Shadows is inescapable. And for those who may not be fully aware of what's going on, Assassin's Creed Shadows has two protagonists. One of them is Yasuke, who is based on a historical figure, and many people refer to him as the first, and I think only, but don't quote me on that, Black Samurai. Now, I personally am wildly unfamiliar with this piece of history, mainly because I'm not a history buff. So personally, I will not comment on the historical accuracy of said character, but there's been a lot of debate surrounding that, as well as the historians that Ubisoft is trying to bring out to defend their decision to make Yasuke the protagonist. And a lot of internet conversation, because of culture war BS, is focusing on this subject matter when it comes to Assassin's Creed Shadows. If you look up this game at all, whether it be on Twitter, Reddit, probably, I don't check Reddit personally, or like YouTube, you will see coverage about this. And it's a rabbit hole that just kind of keeps on going. I think the reason that, at least in my circles and personally, that I am not interested and have not seen much interest in this game is far more simpler than that, and that's just the game looks crappy. And I'm going to be pretty blunt in this video, and I may sound mean, and that's largely because I kind of am here. But I don't want to sugarcoat anything, because I've watched the gameplay they've put out for this game, or at least the video that Ubisoft uploaded to their own YouTube channel that will be playing throughout this video, entitled Assassin's Creed Shadows Extended Gameplay Walkthrough from the Ubisoft Forward about 3 months ago. It was released on YouTube June 10th, 2024, and it's a little over 12 minutes of gameplay. And I can't properly express to you how much of a disservice this did for the game in my opinion, because I haven't really been keeping up with this game, mainly because I just don't particularly care about Assassin's Creed. It's never a franchise I could get into. But after watching this gameplay, now I understand why I'm just not seeing a lot of hype for a game that, on paper, should get a lot of hype. It looks boring, stale, one-dimensional, and derivative. There's this concept when it comes to certain video game mechanics called diminishing returns. Essentially, if I apply a stun to an enemy, maybe that stun lasts for 4 seconds, and if I apply it again, because they don't want me to just infinitely stun this enemy, they may reduce the time that enemy is stunned to 3 seconds. Next time 2 seconds, next time 1 second, next time they're immune to the stun. This concept of this status effect, or whatever I'm doing, netting me less and less gain the more and more I use it, is called diminishing returns. And I I think Assassin's Creed Shadows is a massive victim of Ubisoft diminishing returns. And just AAA diminishing returns. We have seen these kinds of games over and over and over again throughout the years. Especially when it concerns Assassin's Creed. There's so many of these damn games. And when the market, and especially you the consumer, are oversaturated by these releases, by these games time and time and time and time and time again, if there's not enough substantial revision to alter the formula, to try something new, breathe new life into it, and it just irradiates the energy of stagnation and being the same yet again, you get bored of it, you grow tired of seeing it all the damn time. And Assassin's Creed Shadows is trying to do something new. It's having dual protagonists, where you can have one of those protagonists, Naoe, being the shinobi, being the stealth-based character, while Yasuke's all about being in your face as the samurai in a more traditional action game style. And when you look at the gameplay, right, like that sounds good in theory, and in my opinion, that is the biggest sin of Assassin's Creed Shadows. It sounds good in theory. It's fine. Dual protagonists, you can take on each mission either way depending upon your own preferences. Cool, player choice, that's all well and good. You look at the actual gameplay, you hear these characters talk, you see the story that's unraveling here, and it's the most bland, generic, and I know this word gets thrown around a lot, but it's apt here, slop. One, they uploaded this gameplay in 30 FPS in the year 2024, but it's not even that. When you look at the actual animations, you look at the combat, you look at the flow of it all, and it looks as if it was thrown together in an afternoon or something. And I know that's hyperbolic, but like that's the energy it gives off. The animations feel as if they got the frames absolutely necessary to telegraph the relevant information to the player. Like, okay, you line up a strike, the strike connects with the target, blood spits out. Cool. But the problem is, it looks as if it's missing the frames for all those middle bits. So the problem you run into, consistently so, is that all these animations and the combat and the cutscenes that sometimes they have look so floaty and unimpactful. Nothing I've seen makes me go, oh, I need to play this. We have a modern action game that has a parry system. I swear to God, those are a dime a dozen now. There's nothing overtly cool or anything that really screaming at me saying, hey, I need to play this because if I don't play this, then I'm missing out on this really cool thing. There's nothing that I've seen from this game that gives that energy, and the same could have been said for Star Wars Outlaws, where it's like that is a game where on paper you have everything needed to make a stellar game. A Star Wars game where you play as a smuggler, it's open world, you can go to various planets, partake in various missions, join up with different syndicates. This should be really cool. Then you'll look at the gameplay and it's the most bog standard blast up gameplay you've ever seen out of Star Wars, with the most generic looking stealth sections. And like that's the issue with Ubisoft nowadays, where a lot of the things they do on paper to me sound intriguing and interesting, and then I look at it and I'm like, this isn't grabbing me. Why isn't it grabbing me? And this is a concept I really like to talk about because I don't like just saying, oh, I don't like it, or I like it. To me, one of the most important elements of conversation and discussion is being able to articulate why you like something or why you don't like something. But I couldn't put my finger on that when it came to Assassin's Creed Shadows. But I think I've managed to come around to it. Everything looks just generic. If I want an action game that's focused on parrying or precise timings, buddy, we're inundated with those like once a month. And the animations, not even just like for combat, but like regular animations in this game, they look so jank. As if it's like, this is the rough draft. And like, maybe it is, and this is why they're like, look, the game's feature complete, but we just need a little bit more time to polish it. And like, maybe that will help a lot, and fair play if it does, right? My only thing is, if I was a betting man, I wouldn't put my money on that happening. And then it concerns like the actual dialogue. It feels weirdly stiff. And I talked about this in my Discord, like the dialogue in this game, from what I'm hearing, has the emotional gravitas of a high school play or performance. And this is something that I'm really starting to notice with a lot of these like big AAA games that trying to advertise themselves as these emotional rides or as these dark narratives, right? They're really gritty and down to earth. And their idea of being cool or having emotional investment or being realistic is just every character acting the goddamn same. Or you have a character to be a slightly loud every now and then. And there's so many elements to this game that feel, at least from what I've seen of it, like it got got to the point where it was minimally viable and they just said, screw it, roll with it. Because, like, totally, the game's not out yet. And they said they want to take more time to polish the title. So, like, absolutely. Maybe this will help a lot. Who knows? Maybe. I just don't think smoothing out a few animations is the root issue here. The issue I'm seeing from this game looks more foundational, where there's no real grab here. There's nothing screaming to me saying, they are cooking with this. And let's also not act as if this game exists in a void. Modern gaming is an incredibly competitive landscape, especially in the year 2024, because so many damn good games are coming out all the time. And even games that haven't been released yet can grab attention. And here's my thing. If I want to play a game like Assassin's Creed Shadows, where I want to play as a samurai, I want to play as a character in feudal or medieval Japan, and I want to have this dark narrative, this emotional investment, and I want a beautiful game, dude, Ghost of Tsushima's right there. And they just announced the sequel, and the gameplay that I've seen from that game looks far more smooth, cohesive, and competent, combined with the presentation being far more memorable and striking than Assassin's Creed Shadows, where more often than not, it looks janky and put together in like an afternoon. It may not have, but what I'm trying to get across there is that I think even they know this game needs way more polishing. Because bear in mind, these are trailers, these are gameplay reveals they reveal. This is their cream of the crop, the creme de la creme. This is what they want to put out there actively to showcase the best points of the game to draw people's attention. It's not gonna get better than this, or at least I find it highly unlikely that they're saving a trump card or anything like that. I just don't buy that. So while a lot of internet discourse has been surrounding the culture war stuff surrounding Assassin's Creed Shadows with their MC of Yasuke, I think the real issue with Assassin's Creed Shadow is far simpler than that. The game just simply doesn't look good or appealing. We have been inundated with Ubisoft-esque games for so long that we're actually starting to coin the term Ubisoft game as the definition of a mid-open world game. Like, that's the point we're getting to. Oh, it looks like a Ubisoft game. And people just understand naturally what you mean by that. Like, games aren't cheap. And I can only speak from personal experience here, but if I want to get into a Japanese, well, feudal/medieval Japanese drama about samurai or stuff like that, and I want this big cinematic adventure with some really fun combat that makes me feel like a samurai, why would I pick this over Ghost of Tsushima? Quite frankly, personally, I wouldn't, because Assassin's Creed Shadows, to me at least, is not bringing anything to the table that really draws my eyes and grabs my attention and would make me regret not playing it. Because for all intents and purposes, from what I've seen, I would regret even playing it. And with that, I'll call the video there for the day. Thank you all for tuning in. Stay safe, have a great day, leave a comment down below with your thoughts, your opinions on Assassin's Creed Shadows. Love to hear your thoughts on it. Are you interested in it? Are you not interested? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I'd love to hear your thoughts, hear your opinions, and hear your perspectives. Stay safe, have a great day. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody, till we meet again.